Hello, I'd like to welcome to everybody to the May the 1st Town Hall for the Aul Financial Group. A year that's flying by. I hate to say it, summer's just right around the corner. Hard to believe Memorial Day weekend's only about 3 to 4 weeks away. And then we'll be moving into the summer months. The city of St. Louis, it's a little bit warmer. I absolutely love that over the cold weather. I'm very honest about that. So it goes from there. So I'm going to say thank you all for joining us, those that are joining live and those that will be joining us later. We really appreciate y'all coming to this. We feel that it's informational based, and we've heard from some of our clients that they really like the idea that we try to keep them up to date on a regular basis. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over the first part of this meeting to Mel Brandon.
Thanks, Steve. I've got a subject that we've talked about a little bit before, but it's been brought home very forcefully to me just in the last few meetings we've had with people that are considering whether they want to have Aul Financial be their retirement planning company. And I say it's that way specifically because there are people that do investment management and they're investment advisors and they're stockbrokers and they're building asset bases out. And we think that we differentiate ourselves considerably because we really think of ourselves more as planners as much or more than we do the investment counseling, because we are full service. We do have the insurance side of things, whether it's long-term care, life insurance, estate planning. We spent a great deal of time talking about tax planning as part of a retirement, whether and when to take Social Security. How will doing Roth conversions mean anything to me and or my children? Will it affect my Social Security taxation? Does it affect my what I pay for Medicare? There's all these different pieces to it, but there's even more than that. There is a huge psychological chasm that comes up for a lot of people that are trying to make that jump from I'm accumulating assets. I think differently about investing while I'm earning a paycheck and paying the bills because my money that I invested is sitting over here and it's for the future. It's for the rainy day. It's for when I retire, build, invest. Things, the market's down a little bit, I want to invest more so I can get things when they're on sale. And when you suddenly make that switch to you don't have your own paycheck and you have to create one of the big psychological hurdles is understanding what you can spend comfortably. Do you want to have that as an investment pool where you pull your income out of that? Or do you want to have that income on a guaranteed basis so you don't have to worry about it? Just think about the difference in how you would look at investing if you had all your money in the market and you were having to take out a percentage of that income each month to live off of, and the market took a dive. And it does, it does it on a regular basis. We've had 3 or 4 major 30% drops in the market or more in the last 15, 20 years. We're likely to have more in the future. And it can have a pretty dramatic effect on you when your nest egg is here and now it's here and you still have to have the same amount or more money because of inflation to pay the bills and live and be comfortable and enjoy your retirement. Or would we be better off having a guaranteed income stream that will supply our basic needs and our lifestyle, and then have that not be affected by what the market is doing? We have a part of our money set up as a guaranteed income stream, and part of it is for investments in the future, but I can weather the waves better if I'm not having to worry about spending out of a depressed asset. We spend a great deal of time in building out platforms where we have some of both kinds of money. When the markets are doing well, we might spend out of the rising market because it takes fewer shares being sold to generate the income. But when the market's taking a downturn, if I were living out of the market, I have to sell more shares to raise my money. So maybe I have some stable value money sitting off to the side where when things are down over here, I can spend out of the stable value, but when things are up over here, I can spend out of that. But it goes the other way too. If things are doing really good, I might take some of that money off the table and put it on the safe side to be ready for the next downturn. So just understanding the difference in the philosophy of how you position your money how you set up your income stream. It's a lot easier not to worry about whether you can pay the bills if you have a fixed income that is keeping up with inflation and will pay the bills every month, regardless of what the market is doing. On the other side of the coin, if you're more aggressive, you might consider being very aggressive. And if the market takes a turn, I don't care. Not very many people actually feel that way when it happens. They just say they do before it happens. When you suddenly get that 20, 30% drop in the market and you still have to produce your income, it feels a lot different. So the psychology of how I think I will react versus what people really do can be considerably different. The other thing is understanding cash flows and what you can do and when you can do it. Should you be debt free? Does it make a difference whether you're debt free? If I have the asset and the income to pay the cost of the debt, does it really matter? To some it does, but that becomes more of an emotional issue in some cases than it does a logic problem. So we have to look at it from both ways and then help you figure out what's more important to you. Understanding how much you can actually spend. Believe me, Steve and I, in 15 years of being in this practice together, looking at how people spend money, we have people that have very large 2 or 3 7-figure asset bases that are going to run out of money because they're simply spending too much, and we tell them over and over and over and over again, but it's their money. So we can only advise and recommend. We can't make them do what we think is best. Wouldn't presume to do that in the first place. Our job is to advise and help out in that respect. But then we have other people, quite honestly, that have that or less and have more income than they know what to do with and are still trying to be frugal and save when they're already in retirement, when they don't need to. They can actually take more income and enjoy it and spend it on the kids now instead of waiting until you're dead and gone and leaving them a bigger inheritance. Sometimes that's a pretty darn good idea. You get to see the smiles that way as opposed to just imagining what they might be. And it's more joy for them because the memories are what's super important, and being able to provide those kinds of things for your children while you can see them and be there and enjoy it with them is pretty powerful. I mean, I know if you think back about your parents or loved ones that you've lost, what comes to your mind? Is it how much money they left you? Or is it maybe that special item they left you? Or is it that trip you took or that party you had or that the family reunion that you presented in? So they're way more valuable than the money in that respect. So sometimes just understanding what you can do and what you can be comfortable with. And I'm going back and forth a little bit, but I really want you to understand this. If you're looking for people to help you be retired, one of the things you don't want to do is have retirement be a full-time job. Okay. I mean, where you're constantly trying to pinch the penny or move the dollar, and I need to make more nickels, and I can't do this because it'll cost me this, or I have to do this, but I have to be so careful. If you can avoid that, where you can have things positioned ahead of time or with a good planning structure where the bills are paid, you can get by, you can be comfortable, you can live your retirement. You know what your budgets are, just like you did when you were working, and you don't have to worry about managing the money to try to save that extra nickel or things. If you don't have to do that, retirement can be a whole lot more fun. But we see people that have the assets, have the wherewithal to be comfortable and not worry about it, and they spend all of their time treating it like a job. They put in their hours every day, looking at how things are going and worrying about all these little things. Now, if you don't have the wherewithal, it's a little different story. You got to be a little bit more proactive, perhaps, in making sure that you can afford to do what you want to do. But you shouldn't be positioning yourself in that situation when you don't have to. Well, how the heck do you know? How can you be comfortable in your knowledge? Knowing is power. Knowing is wealth. Knowing what to do and how to do it and what is possible, what's affordable, what the risks are, what the rewards should be for the risk you're taking. All of that stuff is what we spend the majority of our time trying to help people realize. And one of my favorite sayings lately, and I've used it 3 times today in a session with a prospective client, we put a plan together, and as soon as it's together, life happens. Things happen. The family might need something. There might be a financial issue. There might be a health issue. You may change your mind about that RV or that Florida house and want to do something different, or just relationships change. So being prepared to change according to how life happens is a really big part of our practice, because we get the phone calls, this happened, that happened, I want to change that. And our job is to help figure out how to make those things happen, and to also, quite honestly, to be the ones that say, oh, be careful about this, 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 and this, because for every situation and every investment and every plan, there's the pros and there's the cons. You have to know what each of them are and weigh them out according to what is appropriate for you and yourself. So I'm a little kind of built up a little bit about this. This is really, really a powerful subject. And we spend more of our time on these types of subjects than we do about what stock, bond, or mutual fund you ought to be in. And unfortunately, most advisors that you would hire for the exact same price or even more don't do any of this stuff. It's not part of what they do. So the planning becomes really, really powerful. And you will find that if you have someone helping you do those things versus someone who doesn't, you're going to find it a whole lot easier and more comfortable, hopefully, and happy. We hope those things would occur for you with good planning and constant reviews and updates. Those are all important. So the psychology is different when you're about to be or are retired as to when you're building up the money. That was the first premise I made. Then after you get retired, try not to turn it into a job. You know, maybe you can have somebody help you plan out where you can make it fun. That's for me today.
All right, thank you, Mel. Yeah, it's retirement is a journey, not a destination. And I think Mel put it fantastic. Our job is to help walk you through this thing called retirement. You know, because we're all going to do it once, but we've helped other people go through it in their retirement years. And I've always stated the one that I don't like hearing the most is, mom and dad had all this money. Why didn't they do more? And I think that's what Mel was talking about. It's our job to look at this and say, can you do more, or should you be doing less? And I think you put it very well. Thank you very much, Mel. Well, it's hard to believe. Like I said, when I started, May the 1st. April, not a fun month in the market. Let's put it that way. The overall market was down about 5%. And then we look at deals like this, and I know I talked about it on 2 weeks ago when we started into the month of April. That 5 to 10% declines in markets are very common. They happen a lot. So it's not one of those things that we want to, quote, run for the hills and try to figure out what's going on. There are a 10% decline in the market is considered a correction. Now, why would we need a correction? Everybody loved from about November to the end of April, to the end of March, you know, because it was predominantly an uphill market, and markets don't go in one directions. They have to slow down. They will correct. What we want to avoid is the bears and things like that that go with it. So today we started out a new month, you know, and we went. And the reaction on today's markets, because the last couple of days, the markets have been fairly flat, you know, up, down. We're going to see some seesaws, the sawtooth patterns is what we like to call it a lot of times. And today started out kind of flat. And then all of a sudden, you know, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell starts talking. So what happens when he starts talking? Well, the big news right away was, because of the fact that a lot of the inflationary figures are coming in hotter than what they were, there were fears from a lot of us that he was actually going to raise rates, that the Federal Reserve, that they haven't raised them high enough to slow down the U.S. economy. And that did not happen. So the market kind of jumped up a little bit there for a while. And then I think everything kind of came back down when they brought in the numbers on the jobs numbers, those that are looking for jobs. There's very few jobs out there. You know, as I could state, we can tell you that from experience. You know, Stacy needed an administrative assistant, and we were looking diligently for about a month and a half. And then we found somebody that we really like. But that job market out there is so tight. So that kind of brought some of that enthusiasm down. And as Mel put it, you know, it's like I said, compliance will listen to this, and I can only make very few guarantees. One, the market will go up, the market will go down, or it will go sideways. That's about the only guarantee that we're allowed to make when we start to talk about markets. So those are the things that we have to look at. The question that gets asked over and over again, are you prepared for whatever happens in the market? You know, whatever happens in the market. And I think that's the important thing that we like to do. It's amazing when we have craziness in the market and we bring the people in for the reviews and they sit down and talk. Because I think the worst thing that we can do as advisors is not communicate to you, our clients. That way you start going out and, you know, there's plenty of news out there today. I liked it when we listened to Walter Cronkite at 6 o'clock, and that was the news. But now we've got this 24-hour news cycle, and I believe that you can find anything that you want. If you believe that the market is going to go down, you're going to find people that are going to talk about that. If you believe that the market's going to go up, you're going to find people that believe the same way you do. That's because of the quote machine that we currently have out there that feeds you the information that you've looked at in the past. So we do have to look at those biases when we start to go from there. And I think that's why we continue to do the town halls, is so we can kind of talk about what's going on, and it kind of puts it on that level platform. So again, markets are not going to go straight up. They are going to do these things like this. 5 to 10% declines in the market within the inter-year are very common. The 10%, remember, is a correction. Markets had gotten very hot, so it's time for them to slow down a little bit. That's what we love about, you know, Brad Jenkins, you know, Market Guard, that they look at it to the point where right now, a lot of the target portfolios are more defensive at this time. Why would they be even more defensive at this time? I would say if we just look at a few of the things that are going on right now, we've got the Ukraine, we've got the problems in Israel, we've got inflation, we've got a Federal Reserve, interest rates are high and we're not really sure. We have a presidential election. So there's plenty of things right now that are headwinds that are hitting us right now, that it might not be that time to be the most aggressive person that you could be. And then with a lot of our clients, we've pulled the risk completely off of the table with the fixed index annuity that cannot go down due to market volatility. So we believe that we're trying to do the best that we can for our clients, and my goal is always exactly the same. I want the best return that I could possibly get with the least amount of risk possible. I'm going to go ahead and share because my daughter has asked me to, and it's about the events that we have going on. I know I've been asked by a couple people, you know, have you guys become, you know, an event place? And I said, no, we just feel like to say thank you to our clients. And one of the ways that we can thank our clients is what's going to happen on Tuesday, May the 14th. All the new people that have come into the Aul Financial Group, new clients, they will get invited to a dinner. And if somebody referred them, they get to come also. And the referral's not based on the fact that they became a client. It's based on the fact that they were willing to introduce us to them. The other things that people can do, May the 7th and May the 9th, retirement roadblocks. It's at Bishop's Post, just right around the corner here from the office. It's going to be a talk about the things that you're predominantly concerned about. I have the things that I hear from you, but other people do it. So we kind of give the floor and questions to the people that attend the presentation. And then we talk about how you can protect your money if you don't use an annuity, because we do use the fixed index annuity. We are a full service firm. We will go investments, we'll go life insurance, we will go annuities. income annuities, principal protection annuities. So we do all those things. But what if you're one of those people out there that just, I won't do an annuity? There are ways that we can cover you without using an annuity. The cooking classes have come off very well. We're going to do another Schnooks to Pair cooking class. It's going to be at 6 o'clock on May the 16th. This one's a little bit different. It's going to be on Chinese food. So if you've got a guest, bring a guest, sign up, and come have the class. It's not them cooking in front of you. You actually get to prepare it. And then the most important thing is we get to eat it. But that's where we're talking about that. And I like the fellowship that happens at these events, because we're not spending the whole time cooking. We're spending a little bit more time, possibly drinking a little wine or a little water, whichever you prefer, and talking. And I think that's what makes it a lot of fun. And some of our clients have gotten to know each other very well. So if you haven't been to one, please find a guest, give us a call, come to the Schnooks cooking class. And then at Stone Summit out in Winsville on the 21st and the 23rd, we're going to do another taxes in retirement, because I know everybody out there is still concerned about taxes. So that is one of the events that we will come back with. So we are going to sit here and say, I'd like to thank everybody that's on the line with us here today, those that will join us, on YouTube or through the email, however you join us. Please feel free to forward these to anybody that you would like, because our company has grown because people have referred friends and family. And I just want to say thank you very much for being a part of our family.